Hello, listeners. Today's episode is rated G for general audiences. And in today's episode, we're going to talk to my good friend Ericka Page about making music and her process. I do apologize in advance that there were some technical audio issues on my end during the recording. However, I've done my best to clean it up and Ericka sounds wonderful. So tune in and enjoy. Welcome to I.P.A Sessions. Welcome to I.P.A Sessions, a podcast for independent artists. As always, at I.P.A Sessions, we like to try and provide inspirations for practical applications within the entertainment medium. And today I have a very special guest with me, someone who has become a new friend of mine, someone who's helped me out tremendously with this current podcast and a previous podcast by helping compose the theme music that you hear. Please welcome Ericka Page. She is a performer, a singer, a composer, an author, and a jack of all trades. Say hi to everyone, Ericka.
Hi, so great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So Ericka, I want to have you here today because, like I said, this is a podcast for independent artists, and I want to try and help give them a platform to put their work out there. I know for you do a lot, and I know currently, on top of your composing and scoring, like you've done for my podcast, helping do the original theme song, which you guys hear and I hope enjoy, you are also making music videos to go along with the actual music that you make. Do you have any albums, anything like that you've put out?
Yeah, so, I have released a lot of music kind of over the years. I released 2 albums before my transition, which, was stuff that I was very proud of and happy about. But being able to make music now, kind of feeling a little better about where I am just period with myself, it's kind of like a whole new thing to explore. And there's an honesty in there that was in the other music as well, but it's so much more of, being kind of true to myself. So yeah, I released some music last year and some kind of summer jams that I really enjoyed. It was just like a 2-song kind of EP thing. And then during Halloween, kind of right before I released some songs that don't need to be enjoyed only during Halloween, but they all kind of had like a spooky vibe to them, which is another kind of love of mine, is just,
yeah, I see you rocking the Camp Crystal Lake shirt. I love it.
And I know you love it, which is hell yeah. So that was definitely something that I had kind of been planning for a while, but I kind of didn't get to fully execute it until a few months ago during Halloween. And then I also made, a video for it. Which I think is it was like the most difficult and the longest video shoot that I've done, but it was so rewarding and so much fun. And I honestly can't believe that it turned out pretty much exactly like I had written it on the script,
It's a really good video. It's very well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you tell us more? Because I want to promote this music particularly. I want to help promote your stuff today. What's the song?
The album was called Hallow. It was also technically an EP. I think there was 5 songs on it. I think maybe after 5, the RIAA might consider it an album. There's like a cutoff somewhere.
Somewhere around 5 or 6 numbers, right?
Yeah. So it's called Hallow, which was also one of the tracks on the album. But I would say the lead single and the one that I made the video for is called Invisible Forces. And you can get it anywhere that, the current music world is, dealing music. I always say, please add me on Spotify as an artist.
I need to do that. I apologize. I haven't done that yet. I need to get on that. I'm sorry.
No, well, I appreciate that already.
I'm aware now. See, I'm already aware.
But yeah, Apple Music, and then any other, streaming platform would also have it.
Okay. And you have a YouTube channel too as well for it?
Yes. And please check out the video. It's just youtube.com/the Ericka Page, which is like all my handles. So.
And you spell your name Ericka with a CK, correct? ERICKA?
Yes. TheErickaPage. Yeah.
PAGE. So the Ericka Page. And they can find your YouTube channel, and they can find you on Spotify under the Ericka Page as well, correct?
Yes.
Fantastic.
And then I have a website, erickapage.com. But yeah, all of those things will lead you there.
Okay, fantastic. So just kind of take us through your process of getting this whole journey started with the music, recording it, and then making the video. Can you tell us about all that?
Yeah. So I definitely have a love of just kind of creating and storytelling, I think is what I really, all of it kind of falls under that umbrella of storytelling. I um, love to make films. I feel like I'm kind of getting my bearings on that side of things. I'm a little less seasoned in that, but I really do love it. But I also have always loved to compose music, which is also it really is. They're both different ways of storytelling.
This is true.
Yeah, yeah. And, I started doing music even earlier. I always loved to sing. I sang in my church choir. I sang at, my school choir. I was always very shy though. So I discovered Pro Tools, I think, when I was like, I don't know, a long time ago, years ago. And I discovered just recording and the different things that you could do with the technology. So I just kind of fell in love, and I had already loved music so much, but then I kind of found a way to start creating my own music. And really, the inspiration can come from anywhere. I learned how to play piano, just kind of not that well, but I definitely know music theory, and I went to school for audio technology. Even before that, I
Oh,
was
wow.
already
Where'd you go
yeah,
to school at?
yeah. Valencia College in Orlando.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so they have a really good program that's kind of comparable to. There's another big school called Full Sail in Orlando
I'm
that.
aware of Full Sail, but that's because I'm a wrestling fan, and that's where a lot of wrestlers go to.
That's an interesting connection. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people come from all over the country to go to this school. And I just happened to live in Orlando. And Valencia was offering something that was comparable, but that was like a little less expensive.
Yeah.
So it was the way I went. But like I said, I was already kind of recording before that.
You just need a place to hone your skills, really.
Yeah, yeah. And definitely, I think if anybody wants to go down, the musical or creative route, school can absolutely be a good thing, but I always tell people just buy some inexpensive equipment and start doing it. That's really where you're going to learn what your style and your voice and, all of these things are.
Who you are. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So I kind of started recording. The inspiration really can come really from everywhere. I've always loved pop music. I've always loved big vocals. And, coming from the church, there was, I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, and there was
It's
always,
okay. I'm from the South as well. I feel you. I'm
yeah,
right there with
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah. So, there's these incredible choirs and big voices and, just
Hmm.
wonderful, soulful things going on. So I think that's really where I kind of got a lot of the start of my vocal style and stuff like that. And then just growing up in the 90s and having such wonderful pop and R&B music. And I loved everything. I loved rock music and punk and Green Day and Nirvana and all that too. But TLC was like the coolest band to me. And I'm still like, I can become a kid again all over, if
We
we,
all love TLC.
yeah. Yeah, so I just started making music, and sure a lot of it was bad at first, but that's how you kind of get your
Yeah,
bearings and
you
figure
got
it
to start
out. And
somewhere. Absolutely.
yeah, so that's what I did. Yeah, and I started performing. I met other people that I started performing with in college. I even went on like a small. I mean, it was like we were like in a van. We went on a tour from Miami to New York. Me and his stage name was Ricky Diamond at the time. He's kind of
That's a
changed it
great
around a
stage
little
name, by
bit.
the way.
Yeah, yeah,
Ricky Diamond. That flies off the tongue.
yeah. And he's totally talented, wonderful. He does all kinds of stuff. He kind of raps a little, sings a little, and composes and writes. But that was such an incredible learning experience for me. And just being able to perform at so many different venues in front of so many different people, it was just really important for me to kind of get past my shyness and stage fright and really understand more about performing in music. Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, it sounds to me like it's a lot of your life experience and going out there and just kind of doing things and giving it a go, trying it out. And I'm guessing with all that experience that you have and everything that you've done, that's what led you to the point where you decided one day, hey, I'm going to write this song and then another song and then another song. And then you realize you got a small little album. Take me through that process.
Yeah. So, kind of as I said, for a while, I was doing music with this other performer, which was a wonderful experience. But I think then I was really anxious to kind of explore my own sounds and my own voice more, and kind of experience just writing more from my life experience, versus, before we were writing mostly like fun songs, which are great too. I think it's important to have time to have fun and not be so serious. But I also did want to explore more personal things. So that's what I did. And really, inspiration can come from anywhere and everywhere. So, I write about things that have happened to me, or things that I've witnessed or experienced, with other people, or it really can just kind of come from anywhere. And the first album that I released was called These Days. And it was a mix of some fun pop songs, but it also did talk about, I have a song called Pockets Full of Paper that's just kind of about, as an artist, struggling and not always making a ton of money, and trying to, have a relationship, or, falling in love with somebody, or at least being very interested in somebody that may or may not have given me as much of the time of day because I didn't have a lot of money. Or at least that was my perspective on it, and just other more personal things like that. But I mean, I'm still very proud of that whole album. And then, the album after that was called Oligarchy. So I really got
Nice.
into, um, it was, I, I try to be, up to date on politics and the news and stuff. And sometimes it's just so disappointing. And
It's going to
so
be very disappointing,
sad.
especially
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah, and we really haven't gotten better since I wrote that album, over,
Yeah.
it's been 6 years or something like that, or longer.
It feels like we take steps forward and then 20 steps back is what it
And
feels like.
right, we do make progress, and then people get upset about the progress, and kind of it's really frustrating, but we have to,
It's politics.
yeah, we have to just keep on hustling and trying, and everybody go vote, please go vote. Yeah.
There you go. So Oligarchy was your kind of political album in a way?
Yeah, and the lead single and the lead video for that, actually, it's so not funny, but just kind of, I think, interesting. I made a video that depicted this kind of Trump-esque person that was running for president. And this was before there was, Trump hadn't even like mentioned that he was running for president. This was like
Yeah.
years before that. And just this person gets exposed that they are maybe not the best person, but, the people who helped to expose him actually get in the trouble, which, I was playing one of the characters, obviously, in the video, and I had a couple of my friends with me.
That's cool.
So it was kind of too on the nose for the fact, or the way that things had kind of turned out, but it was an interesting process.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds fun too. And then your latest album, tell me about that.
So, I released the EP last year during the summer, an EP, and that one, it was really just two singles that I enjoyed, and I kind of was anxious to release some music. And then, actually, I have to start. There was a single that I released first. That was actually the first, and I can't
Okay.
believe I didn't mention that.
No, go on. Tell us about it. We're talking about it now.
So there was a single that I released first, and it was my first music video and song that I had done since transitioning, which is kind of a something that really changed my life all for the better. And,
I'm sure. Yeah. It is life altering and life changing, I'm
completely
sure.
life altering, and crazy process, because you don't know what's kind of going to be the outcome exactly. But it has been an incredibly positive thing for me. And in doing so, I really did want to get back to making music and creating and releasing things kind of as an authentic person. So I am very happy with the music video. It's called Now the Moment, which it really is kind of about taking the time that we have seriously and not taking anything for granted. And even when we we have, even when things get rough and we may not have all the answers, we literally have this moment that we're in to kind of make a new decision or make a new path for ourselves. And it's not easy. Like, life is just so crazy and so hard, but that's kind of what the inspiration was for that song.
It's like taking a chance on yourself. It's believing in
Yeah,
yourself in a way.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And not being afraid to kind of start from where you're at, even though that can be very intimidating and very scary. And I wore the skimpiest thing I've ever worn in a music video, but it was still nothing compared to, like, Queen Beyonce or anything like that. But I showed a little skin, so that was fun.
Hey, it's your new skin. You got to show it off, right? It's
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
transitioning and you're learning to love yourself. And from my experience with people who are going through transitions, our friend Lexi, who was on the very first episode, was talking about her transition. I've noticed that with my friends who transition, they just seem to truly be able to kind of, like, it's like it unlocks something, and they're truly finding who they've always felt they were. So you have my support, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm happy to be a part of this journey with you and to see you grow.
Thank
And
you.
we're here to continue giving you a platform to keep transitioning with not just who you are, but with your music as well.
Yeah, and that's so appreciated. And honestly, when we worked on Atypical together, which seems like it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it's been over a year, and that
It
just trips
has,
me out.
yeah.
But you were kind of some of the first like new people since the pandemic that I was able to meet and be around and kind of just be myself. And that set was so incredibly wonderful and letting me do that.
Yeah.
And I had worked on it before transitioning, and they invited me back with open arms.
Yeah. Give you a different role. That
Yeah, yeah.
was
The
great.
the correct role. Yeah.
The correct role, the role that was made for you.
Right.
Which is great too. And like I said, I've always known you as Ericka. So it's nice to just, I just know you for who you are. I know Ericka Page.
Yeah.
With Lexi, I've known her longer, so it's neat to kind of see that. But it helps when you have people in your life that can make you feel comfortable and can understand and just treat you as who you are. That's all I care about.
I appreciate it.
You're an artist and you're talented, and you're here today because you have so many gifted skills. You have helped me out so many times with my independent artwork.
Love
So
it.
I was ready to find a way to return the favor, and here we are.
Well, I so appreciate it.
No problem. And thank you for talking. Thank you for feeling comfortable to open up about that. I want to kind of get into some technical stuff with you. We've heard your journey and how you've gotten to making these stuff. Can you just kind of run us through a technical process of how you go about creating your music? I know that you compose and that you make your own music. So obviously you do some voice recording, and then just get a little bit into the editing process, putting it together. Just kind of run us through a little bit by bit of the technical stuff that you need to do.
So Pro Tools is kind of the industry standard for recording audio, even though there are tons of programs now that are really awesome and great. And even just with GarageBand on your laptop that comes with your Mac, it really is a great program that you can do a lot with. I have kind of stuck with Pro Tools as it's evolved and as music has evolved. So really, I think it's always best to start with a kind of a full idea of the song you want to write, which is not always how it happens. Sometimes I do just go back there and start plinking on the keys and kind of
Just messing around.
yeah, and you can absolutely create wonderful organic things like that as well. And sometimes that can be therapeutic in its own sense.
Well, they say a happy accident.
Yeah, absolutely. And even when you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, you still find these happy accidents that might take you in another direction or another sound or something like that. But it ends up being kind of usually better than what you kind of set out to do. But for instance, the last album that I released during Halloween, I had been wanting to create this for a long time. And I really did have a kind of full ideas for most of the songs. So kind of knowing the tone that I wanted to go in with, kind of knowing lyrically kind of where I wanted to go with it. And I think I had actually started several of those songs lyrically, which is not always how it happens. It just kind of helped to streamline the process a bit instead of just, as I said before, kind of going in and just organically following where the music might take you. So I knew a tone that I wanted. I knew for each song kind of a bit of the sound that I wanted, pop music, but also still fun, but also a little spooky. So that was just so much fun for me to create. So if I do have that, I really can just kind of start and get things rolling as far as like the original thoughts and ideas that I kind of put out there. And then shortly after, I had written the music video treatment for Invisible Forces and kind of was able to start, going in that direction with everything written out. But as far as like the recording process, I usually just start with a drum beat, a kick drum, some snare, maybe, a little bit of percussion. But I also might start out with a melody, just started on a piano or, through the technology, I can play all kinds of instruments like trumpets and guitars.
Yeah.
Which we
It's
did.
amazing what technology can get us done.
Yeah.
You are a one-woman band right now.
Yeah, right.
And about how long did this process take you to get everything together? How long did you work on it for?
Specifically focusing on a song, it can, get done in really just like a few days, and depending on how much time you can actually like focus on it. I'm kind of always juggling a lot of things and have to also pay the bills.
As we do in our business.
Yeah, with, taking all kinds of projects with doing alongside doing my own projects. So yeah, it depending on if you really have that vision of like what you want, it can be a somewhat quick process. But it does take once you have your drums and your melody started, on for instance, on Invisible Forces, I did most of the production and engineering and composing myself. But then the guitar that I had put on the song, I decided that I was like, I really want a live guitar. And I play guitar, but I am not a guitarist. So I referred to a friend of mine who's just really, another incredible musician, Gabe Lopez, and
Nice.
he laid some live guitars, basically doing the same melody that I had composed, but you just get a bit of a different sound and kind of like a richer human element to it.
It makes it work, yeah. Shout out to Gabe
Yeah,
Lopez. Thanks for that.
yeah, love him. And then from there, once I had the track all done, I will sit here and record myself. Sometimes I'll go to another studio and have an engineer help me out. But a lot of the time I'm just here and I'm like, I want to get it done. I have the equipment to do it. So I just do it myself.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So stacked some vocals and did, edited it down and bounced everything. And, there you go.
And about how long was that again? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it the first time.
Probably like from start to finish. It took me, and I was also working on like the whole album. So I would get this song to a certain place that I felt like it was, decent. And then I would kind of step away from it for a few days to like work on something else. And then I would come back and listen and say, oh, well, you know what, this sounds great, but like maybe this could have a tweak or that could have a tweak. So it can be the whole 5-song album probably took me, it took me several months with juggling other projects and as well as kind of trying to take my time with this music as well. But if that's the only thing I have to focus on, you could probably get it done in a few days.
That's fantastic. Hey everyone, just taking a quick break here. We're going to listen to one of Ericka's songs. This is Invisible Forces from the album Hallow, which you can find on Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud. And be sure to follow her on her YouTube page as well. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation so far, and I just want to give everyone a taste of her music. Enjoy the song. I know I did.
Something calling, something beckoning from beyond tomorrow. Things that I can't see, extraordinary. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, it's so uncanny. My senses define. Just another explain. Well, come on. All these invisible forces. Do you believe in miracles? All these invisible forces. If anything is possible. Invisible forces, baby, and they're all around. There is something throbbing underneath my skin, emanating, coming from deep within. Extraordinary, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, it's so uncanny, my senses define. Just another thing we can't explain. Well, come on. All these invisible forces. Do you believe in miracles? All these invisible forces. If anything is possible. All these invisible forces. Do you believe in miracles? All these invisible forces. If anything is possible. Invisible forces. Invisible forces. Invisible forces. Invisible forces. Invisible forces, baby, and they're all around. Yeah. There ain't nothing I can say to make you a believer. This ain't nothing to do with faith, 'cause I can feel it. It's so enormous, and I'll reach toward these invisible forces. If anything is possible, all these invisible forces. Do you believe in miracles? All these invisible forces. If anything is possible, invisible forces. Invisible forces. Invisible forces. Invisible forces.
That was Ericka Page with the song Invisible Forces from the album Hallow, which you can find on Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud. And be sure to stick around for the end of the episode where I'll play another bonus song from her single, Now, the Moment. Back to the conversation. Okay, so you finished the process. You got your songs out. You got them all finalized, and then you decided to make a music video. How did you go about doing your video, and who all helped you, and how'd you get it done?
Yes, it was so much fun. As I've said, I have a love of filmmaking as well, but it is a different beast. I really do need help, as I've certainly shot like a little silly film when we were in quarantine, and the whole point was that I did everything myself because we really couldn't, be around each other.
As you do in quarantine.
Right. Except my dog was in it. He was a very important actor.
That's right. Everyone knows whether you're an independent studio or you're big time Hollywood, dogs are number one every time. They are the stars. They steal the show.
Yeah, he really shined, definitely. But for this, I grabbed my friend Michael Philippi, who's like an incredible director of photography. And I really did. It was a co-directing experience. I kind of started as director and artist, but there was so much that went into it, and so much that just kind of as a friend, I would be like, well, hey, what do you think about this? And, what do you think about this? I was just like, listen, I'm totally giving you co-directing credit because we really did do so much. And then another friend of mine, August Emerson, was there and lended us his house and also really helped out with some of the effects that we ended up doing.
Location.
Yeah, absolutely. But we shot most of it at the house, which I was actually living at the time, and I was renting a room. But then we also, there are parts in the video where I'm walking in a field, and then we went into another neighborhood to film the exterior of this house, just like guerrilla style,
Nice.
And I didn't end up using that exterior, but I wanted it, and it would have been a good fit, but then after editing so much, it kind of just didn't make it. But there was a lot of that, just kind of figuring things out. August was hiding behind furniture to like pull invisible strings to like make other furniture move. And
yeah, the video is very cool, by the way. When you guys get done listening, please go check out her video. It's actually really cool. It's a very unique video.
Thanks.
It's old school practical effects, which I appreciate the most.
Yes, there was old school practical effects, but then there also I did a round of After Effects after production.
Of course.
And another thing that I kind of had to get more familiar with as a video editor, certainly most people that I work for don't need After Effects or like lights or like any of those additional things, but I can do it if somebody needs me to. It was something that I wanted to know.
I always feel if you're going to try and learn something and experiment with something, doing it to a music video is the best way, because you're not looking for a Scorsese film. You're just looking for something that's going to entertain people for about 3 to 4 minutes, and that gets your message across and your music and who you are. So I think that's the perfect thing to do.
Absolutely. And just great practice in general. So yeah, finished that, did some green screen. I'm like flying on a broom, added added a full moon in there, which because it wasn't a full moon night. But so there was a lot of fun, but also a lot of help with that one. It was the three of us, but I really could not have done that, the video, without their help. The Now the Moment video, I shot entirely by myself with tripods and set up the lighting and everything myself. And then I had actors come in.
That's cool.
And dancers and stuff like that. But so slightly different process. But I think the scale of the Invisible Forces video, it really, I definitely needed help.
And it looks like you treated it professionally. You had a crew of people that you trusted, that you worked well with, and it has a very professional feel to it. So it's something that you can tell your heart went into. And that pays off as an independent artist, someone who's trying to put themselves out there. If you don't take yourself serious and you don't believe in yourself, it's going to come out that way. You're going to see that, and you don't want to show that. You want to show who you are. So bravo.
Thank you so much. But I also do want to just dovetail what you said. It is kind of, as independent artists and independent people who are doing freelance work, it's so not easy. And it is easy to get down on yourself sometimes. So Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
No problem. Actually, I'm glad that you brought up that point because usually around this time, I like to ask everyone once they've given us this incredible journey, the story of their journey and what they've gone through and everything, and finalizing it and putting it out there. What was the biggest challenge that you had to face? What would you say was probably maybe a hard reality that you had to overcome?
Two things come to mind. One is, the transition, kind of like I had mentioned before. I just, I was able to kind of mask negative feelings for so long. And at a certain point, things were just not good, and I was not my healthiest. And I really did have to take the time to kind of dig into myself and, pull back this layer and then like, oh, there's more there, like pull back that layer and like get to the center of this onion.
Great metaphor.
Strangely enough, the pandemic was a vital tool just for me personally. I know that it was an awful time for a lot of people. I know that people lost family members, and
Yeah.
it was very difficult. But it really did buy me a little bit of time to be able to take time off of life and focus on myself a little bit, and try and figure out what the real underlying issues of kind of my, just like self-esteem issues.
It was almost like a reality check for most of
Yeah,
us.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
No, and that's
yeah.
good. You said there was something else too that you felt was a big challenge.
Also, just the fact that we're in LA and there's no right way to do
No.
anything. There are certainly like perhaps better paths to try and take, but wanting to be somebody who's a performer and wanting to be somebody who does, is creative for a living is just a difficult path. And I can't tell you how many like low points there have been, but thank goodness there have also been good points of where the hard work does kind of pay off, or you finish the project that you've been putting so much time into. And yeah, it's just hard to be a creative person, probably anywhere.
Oh yeah.
But LA is particularly expensive. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people out here also, trying to reach their dreams. And
Hmm.
yeah.
Speaking of expensive, monetary, value, it's hard to monetize things. Was this an expensive process for you? Are you comfortable talking about certain finances? You don't have to give out exact numbers, but were there things that you had to spend money on, even though you knew you were basically investing in yourself and probably not going to get any kind of finance back?
Yes. Certainly with anytime you're creating music for yourself, or even, the music video was in a couple film festivals and was a finalist in a
Oh,
couple,
that's
which was
awesome.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't know if that's going to happen. There are definitely, the first music video that the most recent few, like the Now the Moment video, it really didn't cost me hardly anything. I paid the other people that were in the video. My friend Josh was amazing, and he did it for free just because he's my friend and I love
It's
him.
good to have friends.
But the ballet dancer who was just so incredible,
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Jasmine, she, I paid her, but even that was certainly like she's such a professional. I wish I could have paid her what she like actually deserved, but working on these indie budgets, sometimes you have to just find friends or people that are talented that are like, sure, I'll give you a couple hours of my time for, X amount.
Well, and the plus side is you made a great quality video, and much like me with my podcast, giving you a platform to put yourself out there, you did the same for these other actors. So that's good of you to do as well.
Well, that's a
And to
wonderful way
treat them professionally, treat your project professionally, even though you're probably working for peanuts. It is a good thing. It does help give you a nice portfolio in a way, something that you can be proud of to show off, and it's something you did with people you care about.
Yeah, and I really do. They were absolutely wonderful, and if I do think that these things, the kind of that you just mentioned, did happen, but I'm just still so grateful. And then on the Invisible Forces video, I spent like probably just under like $1,000. But that was because I paid my director of photography. We shot for a few days. I paid my friend August to be kind of like the assistant director, PA, which I ended up giving him director credit to, because we really did. It was this huge undertaking that we all really did do so much for. I was just like, we're literally all three getting director credits.
That's great.
But as I said, that was just like a bigger, longer production, a longer shoot. So making a video for under $1,000 is still quite a feat, and having it be something. Yeah.
It's impressive. It's very impressive. Moving along these same lines, as big challenges and hard times with finances, what was something unexpected that you actually had to learn in the moment? Was there anything you faced that you had never faced before doing this?
I think, especially on the first music video, I had shot things, but every camera's a little different. And for that one, I was using a Canon 7D, which is more of a photography camera. But if you finesse things just right, you can get a good look. Shooting in low light was also something that I, really had to kind of go back to YouTube school to learn, which I really encourage anyone. If you need to learn something, just go on YouTube and search it, and it's probably there.
You're not the first to recommend YouTube for research.
Yeah. But just make sure you like whoever's video you got your information from. It's so silly that that's a form of payment, but they really will possibly get, paid for that. So I think, just learning to put on different hats instead of just being able to be the artist or the songwriter or the, actor or something like that. That it was definitely took some time to educate myself in those ways, being a director,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the challenges you've had to face. We've talked about some financial struggles, unexpected situations. What is probably the most valuable takeaway that you've gained from this entire experience?
The most valuable takeaway, I'd have to say, is just, I guess getting messages from other, people kind of finding themselves and telling me how I was inspirational to them, and it's so touching but surprising, and especially when
it's kind of humbling.
Totally humbling. And of course I always want to be the best human that I can be, but it's just I think you're not always aware of who you might be helping along the way, or inspiring along the way. So that's always incredible when I get a message from a trans person finding themselves and saying, you were really influential to kind of being able to continue my own personal journey. Or, I also released a book. It's actually, it's the anniversary this month of when I released it last year. And just having people also enjoy that, and, seeing the reviews on Goodreads and having people actually say they enjoy it. And, it's got an LGBT lead character, and we have made so many advances and kind of progressed in so many ways. But we also kind of, as we said earlier, with a progression often comes backlash and pushback. So
strive every day to just try and be better.
Yeah. So we still have work to do. And
I mean, I myself do, I have friends. I try to love and appreciate everyone for who they are. But even me, I'm a straight white male from the South. I had to grow up. It took a lot.
Sure.
It took time. I'm not perfect. I have hurt people's feelings. I have had mine hurt. It's all a process of who we are, and everyone's growing daily. And I think people forget sometimes that we're all still learning every day. We're still trying to be better than the day before.
Absolutely. And the world is also evolving. So it's kind of this never-ending process of really trying to, just be better for ourselves, be better for our friends and families, but be better for the world and everything.
Right.
And there still are so many, unfortunately, youths that are bullied, or just their parents aren't accepting of them, or whatever the case is.
Especially in the South where we come from.
Exactly. So any kind of joy or even just additional hope or anything like that I have ever provided, even if it's like one person, to me is like wonderful and incredible.
That's good. So I want to ask you, with all this experience that you've done and with all the hard work that you've had to go through and put yourself through and the payoffs, the ups and downs, finding out that you're inspiring people, finding out who you are yourself, what's your drive? What keeps pushing you to do this every day?
I just love creating things. I just
Good
love,
answer.
I love the possibility of being inspiring or moving or touching or even just making somebody possibly have fun, you know. For instance, in like, you know, like I said, the book, it just writing a character that I never saw when I was growing up, you know. I think that as artists, we really do have the power to kind of move the needle in certain ways, and often
Yes.
a lot of social change really does start in Hollywood. It's a strange
But
thing,
it's true. Yeah.
and not certainly not every project or not every movie or show, but I really do think that as humans, we kind of have this ability to relate to characters that are well written, and it really can be an eye-opening experience for perhaps people who would never experience those types of characters or people in their personal real lives. You know,
It's fair. No, it's true. This is it. This is the last question for you. It's not even a question. It's just really more so, is there any advice or is there anything that you would like to say to someone who is trying to do the same thing that you are doing? Anyone out there trying to compose music, trying to make those music videos, trying to write a song? Do you have any knowledge you want to help drop on them? Anything that maybe you haven't had a chance to share? Any advice moving forward?
I would just say start doing it. And it can get expensive, but find inexpensive ways to do it. As I said, even, you know, GarageBand, which, you know, not even everyone has access to a computer. I understand that. But if you want to be a musician, pick up a guitar, pick up a keyboard. You can get it. I buy secondhand things often. They're often wonderfully, you're able to use them completely fine. They sound great and they don't break the bank. So just start doing it. But also, if you can, find people that are like-minded or that are driven in a certain same manner that you might be driven, because at a certain point you really may need additional people to help with your vision, and maybe you can help them with their vision and their project.
Networking at its finest.
Yeah, and just like meeting you and the fact that, you know, I've read some of your scripts, I'm going to send you mine to read.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
I think that these connections can be invaluable, and not only just as friends, but also as potential people that you work with and are able to create with. So, you know, just start doing it, get yourself out there. And if you can, find people that are kind of in a similar boat, that have similar interests, which LA is great for that. But also now we have social media and stuff like that that can also be very helpful for that.
True. Well, Ericka, thank you so much for coming on today. And I feel that you did help provide some inspiration for folks, especially wanting to get into doing what you do. And I hope anyone out there listening, if they want to reach out to you, where can they find you? I know that they can hear your song that you personally composed for me, my theme song for this show, for I.P.A. Sessions, here every 2 weeks. But where else can they find your music? How can they reach out to you if they want to maybe find someone to help score or compose music for their own podcast or their own short film or feature film, or if they just want to go support you and listen to your music?
Yeah, thank you. Please add me on Spotify. It's just the Ericka Page. You can go to my website, erickapage.com. Add me on Instagram. It's / the Ericka Page. Or you can just email me if you have any questions or anything that I can help you with. It's the Ericka Page at gmail.com. So, yeah.
And you also mentioned a book too. Where can they find your book?
Oh, yes. So it's available on basically all digital retailers. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. You can get it at Target, Walmart, Amazon.
Excellent.
All of these things. Yeah. And you can get ebook or paperback. So I like to hold things. So yeah.
I like my Kindle, so it works for both of us.
Well, I guess you're still holding that, but I mean, I like to turn the actual pages is what I mean.
Fair.
But it's great. Either one is great, and you'll be able to go along for a little journey.
And one more time, what is your YouTube channel?
Oh, youtube.com/the Ericka Page. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ericka. I had a great time talking to you.
Thank you.
I hope that we get a chance to promote your next big project. So you're going to come back again and visit us down the road, and maybe we'll see how far along we've come with this show.
Thank you. It was so awesome.
As always, everyone out there, thank you for listening. I hope you found this inspiring. And until the next time, stay golden. Just a reminder before we go, if you're interested in checking out Ericka's book, you can find it under the name A Marvel of Magic, Madden, and the Dark Unicorns of Danuk. Check it out on Kindle or any bookstore near you. So thanks again for tuning in, and to help support this podcast, remember to rate and review, and click that subscribe button to follow for fresh, new, bi-weekly episodes. And if you're an independent artist looking to promote your work or yourself, please reach out via social media at I.P.A Sessions on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also reach out to me via email at ipasessionspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and I hope you felt inspired.
Mic check 312. This right here is just for you. Didn't mean to keep you waiting. Was taking my time just marinating. Cause I've been high and I've been low. Guess that's just the way it goes. Still can't nobody stop my flow. Now on with the show. We out here grinding, reaching and we're climbing, giving everything so they can see us shining. So what is it all about? I'm just trying to live in the moment. Will I ever figure this thing out? I may never, but I have this moment right now. Here it is, yeah, this the moment. What you gonna do? How you gonna own it? Here it is, yeah, this the moment. What you gonna do? How you gonna own it? It's a brand new day, and I'm gonna do it my way. Pushing with all my muscle, never ever stop the hustle. We out here grinding, reaching and we're climbing, giving everything so they can see us shining. So what is it all about? I'm just trying to live in the moment. Will I ever figure this thing out? I may never, but I have this moment right now. Here it is, yeah, this the moment. What you gonna do? How you gonna own it? Here it is, yeah, this the moment. What you gonna do? How you gonna own it? I'ma be a boss, I'ma be a queen. I'll be dreaming up my destiny. Out here grinding, reaching and we're climbing, giving everything so they can see us shine.